This evening, we are honoring the heroic efforts of those who resisted Nazi tyranny during the Holocaust. Our beloved Holocaust survivors, the righteous among the nations, and the Allied forces who liberated Europe. This evening, we are privileged to have with us a military hero, a veteran of the Canadian Army who fought here in Europe over 60 years ago.
It is our great pleasure to introduce to you now His Excellency, Mr. Dan Costello, the Canadian Ambassador to Poland, who will have the honor of welcoming the Canadian World War II veterans.
Thank you, everyone. Veuillez Montréalais, merci beaucoup. C'est un honneur d'être là. I have to begin by saying to the hosts and the organizers and all of the participants of the March of the Living, congratulations. It's been an honor for me to march with you, to be here this evening, and to share in a portion of this magnificent and moving and unforgettable program. Mostly unforgettable, which is appropriate because I'm entitled to say to you on behalf of the Government of Canada that even while we hope and work for a better future, we will never forget. Pardon me if I said this to a few of you on Thursday, but I'm going to say it again. I've been to Auschwitz-Birkenau 6 times, and until Thursday I'd never seen the sun. So you'll forgive me, I think, if I tell you that a certain part of me believes that you brought the sun, and with it a ray of hope for that better future that we're dedicated to. And so I say to young people in particular that even as we commit ourselves to never forget. And we recommit ourselves to our children never to forget. We also will continue to work for that better world. And I gotta tell you, when I hear and feel and see the intensity and the joy and the love in this room this evening, I think we have strong reasons to be hopeful. I have an important introduction to make, but I have to say one more thing to the survivors. I stand in awe of your experience and all that it brings to us. And to the righteous. Sydney, forgive me, you've heard me say this, but all I can think of at times like this is that we all aspire to certain honors, certain awards, certain achievements, certain titles. We will aspire to these things. We will achieve many of them, and we'll be proud of it, and we'll be right to be proud of it. But all of that fades, and we realize, look, I'm proud to be ambassador, but it's nothing. It's nothing. The greatest honor in the world, surely, is to be called righteous. Ellie, I'm sorry I'm not getting to the point, but now I will do my duty because I have the honor to introduce high up there among our heroes, someone I've just met this week, but who I'm very proud to introduce. He was, he's a combat veteran of the European theater of World War II. He fought his way across France, across Belgium, across Holland, and across Nazi Germany. He has written some things I was reading today that underline the horror of war and how what got him through a really harrowing battle, for example, among many, into and out of Antwerp, was not just his recognized courage, but his sense of humor which he said allowed the soldiers he was with to endure the horror. I give you, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, member of the Black Watch of the Royal Highlanders, William Davis.
Something like that, I think we better go home, Dave. We're never going to make it any better than that. Thank you very much. Before I reintroduce myself, I want to thank all of you for bringing Dave and I along on this trip. We are not of your faith, but you have made us welcome like we were one of the family, and we deeply appreciate it, and we take this message back to Canada. I speak a lot in Canada at children and the schools and around, so I'd like to introduce myself this so there's no misunderstanding. And I say to them, the husband of Shirley Davis, my name is Bill. I don't want you to think that we're heroes because we're not. The heroes are all dead. They gave their lives for us so we could all be free. And I like the children to understand that. Because you wear these doesn't make you a hero. It's what you've done to get them that made you the hero. In 1939, Canada, like the rest of the world, was engulfed in a depression. There were no jobs. It was hard to find a place decent to live. Everybody seemed to be down and out, and the war came. And we thought, what has happened here? No jobs, no nothing, but now we have tanks and guns. But when we got over to England, where we had to go, we knew there was a reason. That what was happening here in this part of Europe had to be stopped. We didn't want it to come to our country because we could see the horror that everybody here was suffering. When we landed in France, it was chaos. In the midst of that chaos, people were coming out and hugging us and giving us flowers and food that they needed drip for themselves. I was injured early after we arrived in France and were taken back to England. 3 days later, the outfit that I'm wearing here tonight, over 300 people were wounded or killed in one battle out of 900. When I come back, I went to the coast where the Canadian Army had been assigned to clear the ports so that they wouldn't have to bring supplies up from all the way from France. The Germans were running here, there, and everywhere, not very fast because that wheelbarrow and push carts and everything that they could find that they'd stolen off the people. It was the worst winter that Europe had had in 50 years. It was snow, rain, sleet. You couldn't find anything worse after fighting, I don't think. It was tough enough from my end anyways. There's a little town in Holland called Woensdrecht. It's at the very bottom of the peninsula that goes up alongside the Scheldt. Our job was to take that town and trap the German army on the Scheldt, on the Beaver Peninsula. We went out at 2 o'clock in the morning, laid in a ditch all night, and then went in at 6 o'clock. We couldn't get 15 feet. The machine gun fire was so great, and we had to cross a sugar beet field 300 yards. We laid there again till about noon hour when some tanks came up the road. And we were ordered to go again. The same thing happened, only they kept going and going. And I went up to the back of one of the tanks to use the telephone. Some tanks, believe it or not, had a telephone so we could contact the crew inside. I just picked up the phone when boom, next thing I know I woke up on the ditch. And there was nobody left, only my friend who pulled me off the road. The tanks were gone, our men were gone. So I said, let's go, and we ran across the field and finally caught up with them. We stayed there all day and most of the evening, throwing grenades and running and trucking ammunition, grenades, whatever we could from the dead and wounded. Our officer had been shot through the head early in the afternoon. Finally, a runner came up and told us we could withdraw. Out of 102 men, we had 19 that could walk. I went to take the maps and the papers off of the officer, and he, don't leave me here. Scared the hell out of me. I thought he was dead. A bullet had gone through his forehead and come out the back, and he had a big flap there. If you've ever seen cold spaghetti, that's what your brain looks like. Closed the flap, put a bandage on him, and said, I'll do my best, sir, but I don't know if I can carry you. He said, just hold me up, I'll walk. And he did walk. We got back to the jeeps where they were taking the wounded away. And I tried to put him in a jeep, he wouldn't go. So let the guys who can't walk ride in the jeep. We got back that night to where we started early in the day and fell asleep in the hay mows of the farm. The next day, the sergeant major woke me up and said, we have recruits here. Will you come and get enough men to fill up your platoon? I went there, we took the men and brought them back, and they said, all of the platoon leaders stay here. We have some information. We had 400 reinforcements, all from an automobile mechanics training school, on the boat, off the boat, and right up to the front. But those guys, when they got the chance, done one hell of a good job. When veterans get together in Canada, we have a little period of silence. It used to be 2 minutes, but now we've cut it down because we have women in the army and they can't stay quiet.
Davis. Bill Davis, my hero. Hi there. My name is David Willard. I'm a 30-year veteran professional soldier and airman in the RCF. And today I'm Bill's aide de camp, which makes me very proud. Just one little thing to wrap up. Wouldn't it be a wonderful world? When are we going to get to the bottom of it here? Jew, Christian, Muslim, we're all sons and daughters of the God of Abraham. It's time we got real. Anyways, you're off now. Our part of your adventure is over. We're going back tomorrow, but you're off to Israel. And safe journey to you all. God bless you all. And God bless Israel.
Made us all so proud of Canada, and we thank you.
I forgot to tell you, Dave's my father. I brought him along to look after me.
Please welcome Rabbi Reuben Putko of Montreal, the spiritual